What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Grey Talks Wrestling. And are you ready to take things to the extreme? ECW 1994, 30 years ago to this day, when worlds collide. That's right, we saw a couple of WCW guys appear in ECW. But you never knew. Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson showed up in Extreme Championship Wrestling. Well, it was Eastern Championship Wrestling at the time, and it did make sense that they appeared there, as they were still affiliated with the NWA and had that sort of connection with WCW still going on. So there were talent trades back and forth. But in only a matter of months, we see ECW pull away from the NWA and Paul Heyman, or Paulie Dangerously as he was known at the time, create Extreme Championship Wrestling. But you can see things being put in place already. You can see they're taking things to the extreme already. They're doing things no other companies were doing at the time. Over in the WWF, you had clowns and bin men and plumbers, and WCW weren't much better really with their goofy gimmicks. Here you had extreme. You had people going through tables, people thrown off balconies, all sorts of crap, all sorts of extreme loveliness happening. The crowd was on fire. Yeah, this was fantastic. This was the infancy of ECW. Yeah, there were some questionable matches and moments, but overall very enjoyable. I really enjoyed When Worlds Collide, going back and watching this one more time. And if you want to, I would suggest it. You get to see a young Tommy Dreamer going up against Rockin' Rebel, who you won't hear much about and you don't really need to know about, really, trust me. Yeah, go Google that name and you'll find out. Tommy Dreamer gets a win, though, over him, and Rockin' Rebel's not happy with Jason after the match. We see a lot more from Jason and Tommy Dreamer in the future of ECW, but not so much of Rockin' Rebel, and you can understand why. This wasn't a great match, but Dreamer gets the win, and you can see they're going to be doing things with him in the future. Mikey Whipwreck already being pushed. And I love what they did with Mikey. Just never gave him an offensive move. He just took a hide in every match and somehow found a way to win. He's the TV champion in 1994. He looks about 17, 18 at the time. He's so small and he's going up against 911. This guy was a beast, was a monster. How did he not get signed up by like WWF or WCW at the time? I'll never know. Absolute beast. The chokeslam he delivered, one of the best you'll ever see. No one was doing a chokeslam like this guy, not in 94. Phenomenal chokeslam. Yeah, should have won the match really, but somehow he goes and gets himself disqualified. He chokeslams Mikey Whipwreck right out the gate. Then he argues with the ref's telling him, come on, pin him, finish him off. Then he chokeslams the ref and Mikey together and gets himself DQ'd. Then he chokeslams the ref again and then again. And Paulie Dangerously is like, yeah, enough's enough now. Let's get out of here before you get yourself in trouble. Jimmy Snuka was with Hunter Q. Robbins III. There's a manager you're not going to hear much about after this match. And Snuka's going up against Kevin Sullivan. Yeah, this was brutal. Two old timers just beating the shit out of each other. I've never a really big fan of Kevin Sullivan, to be honest with you. Never saw the hype or why anyone would like him, really. To be honest with you, Snuka had seen better days. This wasn't the greatest of matches. These two just beat their shit out of each other. And Snuka cheats to get the win with the help of Hunter Q. Robbins III, tripping up Sullivan, holding the leg. Snuka gets the pin. Yeah, this was an ugly match. And then the best part was Sullivan beating the shit out of Hunter Q. Robbins after the match and just caning his testicles. That was phenomenal. Talking about canes, we got a Singapore cane match next. Intergender tag team match, if you like. Tommy Cairo and Peaches defeated the Sandman. Now back in 94, well, but even before this, in 93, you see this, if you go back and watch ECW, you'll see a very different Sandman. A Sandman that was carrying around a surfboard. Ridiculous gimmick, but now he's changed. He's taken up with women. He's dumped his wife, and we're starting to see the new Sandman, the evolution of the Sandman that comes to the ring smoking a cigarette, drinking a beer, caning the shit out of everybody. And this is the first time we see him absolutely destroy people with a cane. This is the first ever Singapore cane match. and he absolutely gives Tommy Cairo a hide. He loses the match. He's the one who's supposed to get caned. But woman being woman, she was phenomenal. Woman was so underrated as a valet. One of the best, in my opinion. One of the very best. Doesn't get spoken about enough how great she was. And she did great things for like the likes of the Sandman. She was phenomenal in his corner. And we need to speak about her as much as we can. And she was great. And she did a great job here. Powder to the eyes of Peaches, who was caning the Sandman. Sandman manages to low blow Cairo, gets the cane, and absolutely gives him a hiding. Whacks Peaches accidentally, and then gives the cane to Woman. And she whacks the shit out of Peaches. Peaches is legitimately trying to get away because she's laying him in. She's properly laying him in. It was brilliant. Love this. 911 comes back out again and chokeslams that ref again. Why is that ref even in the ring? He's been chokeslammed 3 times previously. How is he still standing? And he goes and gets a 4th. Why is he even there? One of the better matches of the show was Pitbull versus Tasmaniac. The Tasmaniac. This is before we see him change into just Taz. This is, we see some old school gimmicks here, and I mean, looking forward to the evolution and the change and how they change and why they change into who they become. Especially the people like Taz, Tommy Dreamer, the Sandman, people like that. This is the early days of ECW, and it's fun to see them like they were, and get to see how they change and evolve. This was an okay match with the Pitbull, one of the better matches of the show, in my opinion. I enjoyed this one. Pitbull defeated the Tasmaniac with help from Jason and a chain to the head of Taz, or the Tasmaniac. Pitbull manages to get the win after Jason distracts the ref. Then we get a handicap tag team match. We get 4-on-3. It's franchise Mr. Hughes and Public Enemy versus the Bruise Brothers and JT Smith. This was an absolute mess of a match. Probably the worst match of the show, in my opinion. And you got your world champion just thrown in there. Somehow JT Smith is the sole survivor. I didn't know this was an elimination match. I didn't even catch that. But somehow he's the one who survives after all the brutality and just absolute chaos going on throughout this entire match. And this entire show was one big car crash, really. You just couldn't take your eyes off of it. JT Smith, sole survivor, somehow manages to defeat both members of Public Enemy and gets the win, and then gets absolutely battered by Public Enemy after the match. And then we get the main event, Sabu and beautiful Bobby Eaton with Paulie Dangerously and 911 going up against Terry Funk and Arn Anderson. This was a decent tag match, A couple of them had seen better days by now. By 1994, let's have it right. But this was a decent match. I enjoyed it. This was hardcore again. Funk bleeding from the head, from the knee. Sabu doing his thing. He was phenomenal in 1994. Phenomenal. He was young, hungry, and wanting to impress, and just going absolutely insane and extreme every single chance he got. Throwing chairs, throwing himself through tables. He was absolutely phenomenal back then. One of the best. And he could wrestle as well. He could. He didn't have to go to the extreme if he didn't want to. He could go down, get in the ring, and be one of the best in the ring as well. People don't talk about how good he was as an actual wrestler. He didn't need to throw himself through fucking tables and into barbed wire and all that stuff and through fire. Yeah, he was very, very good. People don't talk about how good of a wrestler he actually was. And you saw it in this match. He wrestled quite a bit with Arn Anderson, with Terry Funk. This was a good match. Go watch it. You got 2 of the best tag team wrestlers of all time in this match. Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson. Come on, behave. This was a good tag match. Really enjoyable. When you get the turn at the end, you don't see it coming on. Anderson turning on Terry Funk, taking the leg out and leaving Terry Funk laying and at the mercy of Sabu, who locks in the single leg Boston Crab, and Funk has no other choice but to tap out. And Sabu walks away with Paulie, the winners, the victors. And have we seen the last of Terry Funk in ECW? Will the middle-aged and crazy man be able to come back? What a promo after this from Paulie. He was fantastic at those promos. He knocked him out of the park. He paid off the Public Enemy after they helped in the main event take out Terry Funk. And then we get a few words from Funk right at the end. And all he needed was a few words. You want to know who we are? We're the Funk Brothers. That can only mean one thing. Dory Funk Jr. is coming to ECW. Can you believe it? Can't wait. It's going to be great. Looking forward to more ECW. Let me know what you think about ECW down below. Go check it out when Worlds Collide. It was a fun pay-per-view. Well, it wasn't a pay-per-view. It's just one of their arena shows, but enjoyable still. Definitely worth going to check out. 1994 and going back and watching these shows that happened 30 years ago. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enjoyable, and I can't wait for the next one. Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching if you have done this far, and smash that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay lucky, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Peace.